My name is Hans Hansen. I'm with Starboard TCN Worldwide, and welcome to November's podcast related to local commercial real estate in the San Francisco Bay Area. Today we have our agent Priscilla Wilder here with us to discuss her background as well as her clients and a little bit about what's going on with the market today. Welcome, Priscilla.
Oh, thank you, Hans. Thank you. I mean, I'm excited. I get a podcast. How about that?
So both Priscilla and I have one thing in common. We are both actually native San Franciscans, actually native to San Francisco, and we're both in the commercial real estate business. So, Priscilla, a little bit about that. I mean, you're a native San Franciscan. How does that impact you in terms of your involvement in commercial real estate?
Well, first of all, just anybody feels passionate about their hometown. And to be born and raised in San Francisco is we consider ourselves special. You don't find too many of us around still, as you know that, Hans. And so you just have an appreciation for the city and a history because you lived it like no other. So when I speak about my city, I'm really passionate about it. It just comes from a very natural place. There's nothing I can do about that. This is my hometown, and I was born and raised in this area, so I know the history, I know the changes, I know how it's affected our lifestyle. I can tell you about certain buildings in certain areas and how it used to be. I grew up curious about the Haight-Ashbury areas. I saw it out there when it was live and people were out there and living. So it's a different feel. It's just a totally different feel, and it makes you very passionate and appreciative of this area and this market.
So Priscilla, you have a sales background, specifically media sales, and now you're doing commercial real estate. How did that happen?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I worked, you're right, I had a sales background, media sales, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. Again, being a native San Franciscan helped me a lot because I didn't have to go to a smaller market to come to a major market. And San Francisco is a major market, third and fourth largest radio and sales market in the country. And I got the opportunity to work for KGO Radio during its premium and high days. Not to say that it isn't now, but there was a time when KGO Radio was the #1 radio station in the country, not just in the Bay Area. And I did very, very well. And I got a chance to dibble and dabble in my own real estate. And I loved it. I had a passion for it. I couldn't believe it. I would think about it, unbeknownst to them, about my business in real estate, my own personal business, on my job. And so I would, in my spare time, just take time and go into real estate offices. And I found myself leaning more toward commercial, which I found interesting because I didn't own any commercial. I just had residential. And so I found myself, I went to Collier's and I shadowed a girl during the day with her to find out more about it and what she did. And I just thought, I'm going to transition from this one day. And I was already projecting my future and creating my career as I was doing my own real estate. So I had done the contractual business, I had read over the legalities of it, all the detailed information, I got involved in that, as well as I managed my own duplex. So I was doing property management on my own. So when it was time for me to make that move, I kind of knew where I wanted to go, and that was the progression of things.
And you chose Starboard.
And I chose Starboard, absolutely. And I chose Starboard. I think it was a great choice for multiple reasons. Obviously, being a native San Franciscan with Hans, and it's family owned and operated. I like the feel of it, and Hans gave me the opportunity to get started. So, can't do anything but appreciate that.
So your background in social media, it's so important today in terms of how we communicate with our clients. Tell me about that transition in terms of how social media is helping you with your commercial real estate career.
Hans, I wish I could say that I'm taking advantage of it more than I should. I'll be perfectly honest with you. But I come from a background, when I first started in media sales, I was given a phone book. And I was told, this is what you do in order to get clients. Go to this phone book and make some calls. And I'm not saying that social media absolutely doesn't have its benefits. It absolutely does. But the question you have to ask, and I ask myself this question, how do I gain trust? How is a client going to trust me? So for me, I've taken the skills that I developed in media, and I hit the streets, and I get out and I talk to clients, and I introduce myself. I send out letters, and I follow up. I make phone calls. I pop in. I'm consistent that way, and that's the reason why I'm in this incredible, beautiful showroom right now. because of what I do. And that's because I believe that when someone sees you eye to eye and they look at you and you develop this relationship over time, you're developing something that you probably can't get when you're communicating on a text or social media. There's still some skepticism there because you really don't see that person. You can't look them in the eyes, and you just don't get a feel for them necessarily other than the communication that they're doing. And that could be some misspelled words and some, poorly written sentences. So you just don't know. So anyway, so that's the way I develop my business, the old-fashioned way. I love developing relationships. Those relationships turn into other relationships. People begin to trust you, and over time you're appreciated as an expert in your profession.
So, Priscilla, we're in this beautiful showroom, our Clinia showroom. They do kitchen work here. They've got all kinds of accessories here. We're in downtown San Francisco off of 3rd Street. Why are we here?
Because, first of all, this is a great showroom. She's got great products, and this is my client. And I'm really appreciative and grateful to work with her. And so it gives you a chance to show when you hit the streets and you get out and you talk to people, the kind of people that you'll meet. She probably gets calls all day long from people. But when you walk in and introduce yourself professionally and have something to talk about, by the way, just don't walk in and say, here I am. But I happen to have something that I thought she might be interested. That was a listing that I had over on Kansas Street in the Patrol Design District. And I thought she could be potentially interested in it. Now, it worked out. So I'm here in Clinia because it shows the skill set that I have to work with people, just coming in, introducing yourself, and then following up and having something to offer. So because of my Starboard relationships and what I've been able to develop at Starboard, and then being a native San Franciscan here in the market, and then getting out and just working hard in your market and knowing how to go about doing that, develops clients like our Clinia. And this is just a great product, a great showroom, great client, and just very much so fits San Francisco today.
So, Priscilla, with this latest tech boom, you have hundreds upon thousands of new residential condos either in the construction phase or ready to be built. And of course, all of these beautiful kitchens will find a home in those condos. However, at the same time, you've got a tech boom, and that tech boom is looking to expand into spaces that oftentimes are showroom spaces, particularly in the Trail Hill area and so on and so forth. So how does that balance in terms of finding showroom spaces to keep this industry going and thriving in San Francisco against the outright growth of tech when we have limited amount of space available?
Well, the market definitely is going in multiple different directions. And we have to make room for that direction. That's just the way the market is. It fluctuates, it changes. So with that said, nonetheless, with our economy being what it is and what we've gone through, the Patrol Hill district has changed. And a lot of designers, unfortunately, have not been able to deal with the market changes. The growth of the tech industry, they love the open space showroom. That's the benefit of the tech business. They love it. And business owners or property owners want to lease their spaces. And fortunately, the tech companies have the finances to lease those spaces. With that said, a lot of markets, zoning change, sub-markets, the zoning is changing. You're finding urban mixed use as a use for like the Patrol Design District. And you're finding mixed use in those buildings. So you may have on the ground level, you'll have showroom, and on the top level, you'll have office space. Now, the question that I have in my mind is like, okay, we've gone through this tech boom once before already in our community and in our economy. And now, potentially, we're going through it again. We don't know if it's going to be a boom or a bust. So we have no idea what the fallout is going to be. So you're always going to ask yourself, how is it affecting traditional businesses right now? Because traditional business can't necessarily keep up with the tech industry because they can afford a higher lease rate, so to speak, and they're driving this local commercial economy right now. So there's got to be some balance. It depends on the owners. Owners pretty much so have a lot to say and do about who they want in their building ultimately, based upon the background of the client. So there's a fine balancing act there, and there's an unknown future. And us commercial brokers, we have to work with what we have to work with when the market conditions are what they are, and best for our client.
And it's so intertwined, obviously, because the tech boom is leading to the residential boom, which is leading to places like this selling to the residential. So we're all intertwined.
We're all intertwined.
But at the same time, the pressures on the space, the pricing that's going along as these prices are raising, it's all in the mix.
It's all in the mix.
How it all plays out here in the next 18 months is going to be very interesting.
Should be very, very interesting. We'll see. But we'll do the best we can by our clients, so that's the main thing. So.
Well, thank you, Priscilla. We appreciate you participating in our podcast for this month. If you'd like more information on Starboard TCN Worldwide, please visit us at our website at starboardnet.com. My name is Hans Hansen, president of Starboard. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.